What's going on, guys? So, a lot of people asked me if I had to start over, how would I do it? What strategies a new person would do? I get all these types of questions. So, before I jump into it, I stream live every single day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. If you have questions and you want to see me trade live, ask me on the live stream. Also, in the description of this video, I have a free futures course, which would help anybody new. There's no upsells, no nothing. It's all free. It's in the description of this video, along with a link to our free Discord. And if you're trading with prop firms, be sure to use the best coupon code CoveTrader. That helps support the stream. Other than that, let's jump into it. Yeah, I mean, there's just some simple strategies that I would say that if you're brand new and know nothing about anything, um, probably the easiest one to use is something like some type of trend indicator, like adaptive trend flow, where you're just, I would mix it with this. Uh, I know I made videos about this before, but this is like a simple get your feet wet. Um, you're only looking, so basically, you basically follow. If it's green, all you're doing is looking for longs. When it says sell, you sell. And then when it says buy, here's the buy. You buy and you just kind of following the trend up. It's a simple strategy that you're basically riding the trend. You know, you would have bought here on this candle, you would have wrote it up, you get a sell, you buy again, you sell, and then, once it turns red, you're kind of doing the opposite where you're going short, and when it says buy, you're covering, and then you kind of just waiting for a sell signal. And if you don't get one, and then you turn green, now you're only looking for long. So you'd go long, you would sell, you would rebuy. Uh, you know, this is not a terrible uh, strategy. Yes, you can get chopped up a little bit, but overall, it gets your feet wet. It learns, you're learning patience in the market. You're learning to hit the button. You're learning not to hit the button. You're learning to watch. Um, you're developing skills that are kind of outside of, and you can do this on other time frames. It doesn't necessarily have to be the 1 minute. I've seen it done on scalpers, or you can even do it on the 5. You would have gotten long, sold out, rebought, sold, rebought down here. You could do it on different time frames. I would only trade during New York also. I would trade only 9:30 to 4 p.m. I would not be trading Globex or any London or anything like that. Uh, at 4 p.m. Eastern time, I'm done trading. I'm done trading now, but I would definitely be done trading if I was new. But this is just a simple strategy, and then you can start getting, once you learn, your feet wet, and you're starting to learn things, and you're controlling your emotions, because that's the biggest thing. Anybody can place trades. It's controlling your emotions. Then you can move to other things that you look for, where like you're looking for fair value gap inversions, which is kind of like right here to the upside. But now, instead of riding the trend, you're kind of calling the trend reversal, because you're going down, 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 and then you're getting back in on the way up, on the way back. So you get in the reversal. Um, you know, I would do that. There's simple things like VWAP that statistically, you bounce at least 10 points off VWAP. So you come down, you get in, and you get out with a 10-point gain, 10-point stop. You know, there's things like that I'd play with. Just getting your feet wet and seeing what kind of works for you. Then you can dig into other things that previous day sweeps, and then you taking it to the downside. You can get into things like that. You get into session sweeps, hourly sweeps. More things, that the more tools in your toolbox is more things to look out for, the more setups, um, you know, SMTs, but if I would just keep it so simple, I would probably just be looking for follow the trend with the trend indicators I was talking about, and then I would start throwing in some of these inversions. Super simple. I wouldn't even do like I do. Like, so this is one that's in the middle of the range. Like, I wouldn't even be looking at stuff like that. I would literally just be playing sweep ones, which are these with the yellow lines, which means you've swept either previous highs or session highs, session lows. And that's kind of, look, you got one right here. Like, I would only be looking for that. And I would probably keep my trades to most likely under 5 trades in a session. You don't want to overtrade. I trade more than 5 times, but as a new person, I probably keep it under 5 times. Um, I would keep your strategy simple, and I would keep your trades low. And then once you got a hang of controlling your emotions in the market, not going on tilt, and things like that, then I would start expanding my toolbox and into other types of strategies that do work, but are a little bit more complicated maybe, and maybe take a feel of the market and things like that. And then I would start expanding. I have plenty of videos on those. Um, you know, but that's how I would start off on something super simple and then expand from there. The biggest thing is controlling your emotions. Anyone can hit the button, anyone can follow an indicator that says buy and says sell. The biggest thing is you buying and holding until and holding and not worrying, and not, I buy one contract, I lose, now I'm buying 2 contracts. Or I buy one, we're down a little bit and I'm adding. Like, that's not what you want to be doing. So I would say that in the beginning, you're kind of just following a trend indicator, getting your feet wet, learning to control the mental side of trading, which is huge. And then once you have that under wraps, then start expanding to other types of indicators, other types of strategies, and then kind of going from there. Any questions? Comment on the video, and I hope this helps somebody out.